Lord, I'm not saying my husband is hard to talk to, but last week, after I told him how I felt for 15 straight minutes, he looked up from his newspaper, blinked, and said, "Well, that's nice, dear. Did we run out of peanut butter?" Now, I don't want to say silence is the secret to a happy marriage, but I do believe that sometimes keeping your mouth shut might just save your life. And today, we're going to talk about that very thing. Not the peanut butter, though that's another crisis entirely, but the power of quiet, the moments of calm, and the deep, heartfelt prayer that all of us who've been married more than 15 minutes know all too well. Lord, please give me the strength not to strangle this man with a phone charger. Yes, friends, this is a story of long love, short tempers, and the delicate balance between words and wisdom. Let me set the scene. My husband, George, God bless him, has many strengths. He can fix a leaky faucet, grill a steak to medium rare, and sleep through a tornado. But when it comes to expressing emotions, let's just say he communicates about as often as the cat pays rent. Now, when we were first married, I thought this silence meant he was deep, mysterious. Perhaps he was pondering poetry or contemplating the mysteries of the universe. Turns out he was just thinking about mashed potatoes. But you know what? In all those quiet dinners, in those silent car rides, and even in that one unfortunate 45-minute argument about the thermostat where not a single word was spoken, I realized something. Silence can be a gift. It gives us space to breathe. It lets the steam out before the kettle explodes. And most importantly, it stops us from saying things we don't mean. Like, well, maybe I should have married your cousin Bob. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but shouldn't married couples talk everything out? Shouldn't we be honest? Shouldn't we express our feelings? Absolutely. But here's the catch. You don't have to express all your feelings all the time. Sometimes love sounds like doing the dishes without being asked, or taking the dog out because you know the other one's knees aren't what they used to be. Sometimes love is saying, "I'll sleep in the other room tonight so you can get some rest," even though you know darn well they'll just snore through the walls anyway. And sometimes love is saying nothing at all, especially when you really, really want to say something. Because let's be honest, most arguments between married folks don't start with big issues. They start with things like, "Why did you load the dishwasher like that? Why are you watching another documentary about trains?" And my personal favorite, "Do you really need that many throw pillows?" But in those moments when your blood pressure rises and your tongue is itching to lash out, sometimes the kindest, most loving, most marriage-saving thing you can do is take a breath, smile, and chew on an invisible sock. There's a certain magic that happens when you've been married a long time, not the kind with roses and candlelight. I'm talking about the kind of magic where you both look at the same broken lawn chair and say, in perfect unison, still works." You start to finish each other's sentences. Or better yet, you stop needing to speak at all. Because after 30 or 40 years together, you've already had the conversation. Multiple times. In fact, your whole marriage becomes one long, ongoing discussion with snacks and naps in between. One look across the room during a party. That's the universal signal for, let's get out of here before they bring out the family photo albums. Or worse, the karaoke machine. You learn to tolerate their quirks, like how he whistles in his sleep, or how she talks to squirrels like they're her co-workers. And you no longer question it, because frankly, the squirrels seem to listen better than your own children. You learn to communicate with grunts, eye rolls, and sighs. And you become fluent in married silence, a language where a raised eyebrow can mean anything from, "I love you too. If you leave your socks on the coffee table one more time, I swear." And you learn through trial, error, prayer, and more prayer, that the things that used to drive you crazy are now the very things you'd miss if they were gone. His loud chewing, her humming during Wheel of Fortune, the way he always forgets where he parked, even though it's the same spot every week. These aren't just quirks anymore. They're the soundtrack of a life built together. Annoying? Sure, but also irreplaceable. So now, Lord, I'd like to offer a little prayer for all the couples out there, newlyweds, oldlyweds, and everyone in between. Dear God, grant me the patience to hold my tongue when the TV remote has disappeared again. And when he claims it walked off by itself, help me to respond with grace, not sarcasm. Help me to remember that not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the best response is no response at all. Bless my partner's forgetful heart, his wandering socks, and the way he thinks cleaning the house means stacking things in a slightly neater pile. Give me compassion when I'm tired. Give me strength when I'm irritated. And Lord, give me memory loss when I remember too well what he said back in 1983. Help us to laugh more, sigh less, and love deeper. Help us to grow old, not just side by side, but soul to soul. And if you could, Lord, please help him to finally stop leaving the toilet seat up. Amen. Laughter, my friends, is the oil in the squeaky hinge of marriage. It keeps the whole contraption from rusting shut. You can't hold a grudge when your dentures are about to fall out from giggling too hard. Well, you can, but it's a lot harder. The couples who laugh together, they weather the burnt casseroles, the forgotten anniversaries, the snoring symphonies, and the mystery leftovers no one remembers cooking. They've seen each other at their best, their worst, and in hospital gowns with the back open. They learn that humor is holy, that a shared chuckle during a tense moment is more effective than any book titled Communication for Couples in Crisis, that sometimes laughter is the apology. I once got so mad at George, I marched outside in righteous fury, stomped right down the driveway like I meant business. Halfway to the mailbox, I realized I was still in my house slippers and holding a spatula. God only knows what the neighbors thought. George met me at the door, calm as ever, holding a cup of tea, and said, "Just checking if you needed directions to come back inside, or if you're grilling something on the sidewalk." I nearly choked from laughing, and just like that, I didn't feel angry anymore, just grateful. Grateful to have someone who knows when not to argue and when to make me laugh instead. So yes, the secret to keeping a marriage burning, it might just be silence, not the cold shoulder kind, not the "I'm not speaking to you until you notice the trash hasn't been taken out" kind, but selective silence, holy silence, the kind of silence that holds space for grace, the kind that lets you take a deep breath, whisper a prayer in your heart, and decide, this one, I'll let go. Because when you've truly shared a life with someone, raised loud children, buried quiet pets, burned hopeful dinners, held trembling hands in hospital rooms, danced in the kitchen to songs you both forgot the words to, argued about the thermostat like it was a matter of national security, and laughed yourselves breathless under worn-out blankets, you realize something profound. Love isn't loud. It doesn't always come in the form of grand speeches or sweeping gestures. Love is steady. It folds the laundry without comment. It tops off your coffee without asking. It remembers how you like your toast. It forgives before you even say sorry. And love, dear friends, is often funny. Hilariously, unexpectedly, belly-shakingly funny. Because when everything else fades and the hearing aid batteries are dying, and neither of you can remember what you were arguing about in the first place, you still laugh, and you still choose each other every day, even if it means biting your tongue while they tell the same story for the 8th time. But this time you laugh anyway, because now it's your favorite story too. Lord, bless every husband and every wife listening today. Help them to hear not just each other's words, but each other's hearts. Help them to know that even in silence, there can be great love. And if there's a couple right now sitting in a living room, one watching YouTube and the other reading the back of a cereal box, let them smile, let them reach out, and remind them that even after all these years, they still choose each other. Amen.